Hello, hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Mercy, and today's video is going to be about how I am setting up my personal curriculum. There are a lot of really good videos on how to build a personal curriculum, and I have dabbled in watching quite a few myself. I kind of haphazardly made my own. One thing to note is that while I love being on my computer and like doing all the techie stuff, I actually have such a hard time maintaining my personal routines with tech. So I'm very much a visual textural. I love doing things with my hands. I made a few spreadsheets for myself starting off, but I realized it was not going to be something that I could personally maintain. So I ended up doing a written version of my curriculum. That is to say, I also have spreadsheet versions of my personal curriculum. If you feel inspired by the way that I'm processing my curriculum, and you want to do your own version, or if you want to try doing my version of it, I will have the link down below on how my framework's looking like. You could use it if you want, or you could like make your own, do with it what you will. I thought I would do a video explaining how I am going on with my personal curriculum because one, there's plenty of videos out there telling you how to build your own. Two, not everyone has the same work-life balance, so I kind of fixed up mine to kind of make sense with how my life is right now. To me, I feel like this is something that I mentally crave because, as I mentioned in my last video, I've only went to high school. I don't have the means to go to college, nor do I feel like when you graduate from high school, you should be immediately jumping into college. That's a story for a different day, but I feel like we peer pressure kids way too soon about this. Anyways, I just feel that this is something like I mentally need. I need a little bit of structure because my whole life after high school has been very much unstructured and going with the flow. And now that I feel like I need to find a purpose in what I'm doing in my day-to-day life and to have a much more meaningful review at like the end of whatever chapter of my life I'm in, I want to have more structure. Structure is something that I'm really craving right now. This is what makes sense for me. And so with me trying to once again separate myself from work, trying to have a life of my own by having hobbies, by learning things, by taking up space from my 5 to 9 rather than just sitting down at home watching YouTube, eating food, being on my phone, watching TikTok, and then going to bed. I want to fill that space with more productive activities and things that will just help me feel like my life is more full. So with that, I am trying to tackle 3 hobbies, which I talked about in my last vlog. To reiterate, if you haven't seen me before, if this is your first time seeing me, I am learning how to sew, I'm trying to learn Japanese, and I am trying to learn how to sing. The last part is kind of a hit or miss because that one's like, singing's like a really sensitive subject for me, but we are not going to get into that. So for the 3 subjects, I have broken down my curriculum into the full year. Something I want to mention is that I'm also, while doing this curriculum, I'm viewing my year in a different perspective. There's a really helpful video I will somehow link below or on my video about viewing the year in sections, kind of, where you divide the years into months, but the months will be full 4 weeks, 7 days a week. You kind of cut the years into quarters, obviously, so every quarter is 3 months, and then because of the extra days, like every month is like not 31 days, not 30 days, and February is 28 days. You know, there's those uneven days, and it kind of messes you up. Like one month has more days than the next month. And what's really cool about that is since we're evenly chopping up 365 days into 4 quarters, you will inevitably have extra days, which works to be a full week in between of 3 months. And so I'm using those to be like my spring break, my fall break, winter break, what have you. All right, I thought I'd pop in here and kind of explain further with a little visual representation of how I am managing my personal curriculum and how I'm just viewing time in general. I did a little drawing representation for you guys. Up on the screen is dots, and all these dots represent a day, and I kind of clustered them all together. They are 365 dots on the screen. We want to take that further and break it down into 4 even quarters, right? Because 3 months is a quarter, quarter. 4 quarters is a whole year consisting of 12 months. In the next slide, you'll see I've divided them into 4 even quarters, because if you take 365 days, divide that by 4, it's going to be 91 days. So I rounded up 91 days into one slot. And you've noticed the dots are arranged with 7 days in a row, so that represents a week. 13 weeks equals 91 days. You're gonna see in the bottom corner there is a couple of, like, about a week and a day extra. We're not gonna think about that. That's just extra days to our year, right? Taking these quarters, we're gonna chop them up into 3 bits. And for 3 bits, we're thinking of those as months, right? We want 3 months to a quarter. For a month, it's typically 4 weeks to a month. The next slide, you're gonna see I chopped them up even more. We got 4 weeks together for 1 month, and within that column fits 3 months. And again, on the very bottom, we see we have some extra days. We have a whole week extra to ourselves after 3 months. So if you really look at this screen right here, we got our 12 months and we got our week in between each 3 months, each quarter, and at the very end of the year we have an even extra week to give ourselves for extra really good rest, or whatever you want to use that extra time for. And I hope this visual representation of how to view time and how to view your months and how to view your time for rest in between each of that kind of helps you. I really am a visual learner myself, so even me doing this right now, I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So that's how I'm dividing my year. Maybe this makes sense to you. I really like it. I hope you like it too. So I use all this data that I accumulated watching all these videos on personal curriculums and how to view time and how to manage your projects, how to manage your life, how to do things, and I have set up these files, these spreadsheets. Right, so I'm gonna just show this on the screen, or maybe it's better if I just show you like the blank, how it looks. So I've divided these spreadsheets. They're printable spreadsheets. On one page will be 2 quarters, which is half of the year on one page, and then obviously print 2 to be a full year. So with 2 quarters on a spreadsheet, you could label the days. So this top rectangle is 1 month, middle rectangle is another month, and the third rectangle down here is the 3rd month. And then there is one full week break, and I'm labeling that as like your spring break, fall break, whatever. And then it goes back to a full 3 months. I work a full-time job. I have pets. I have like my personal needs to take care of. I have my wife that I take care of. I manage the food. I help with finances. I don't have a lot of time, technically speaking. I really don't want to try to bombard myself with a lot of assignments, a lot of like to-dos, a lot of goals to hit. I kind of broken it down. So every 2 weeks, I have 1 homework assignment for each subject, and I'm only giving myself 3 subjects. So 3 homework assignments after every 2 weeks. That's 14 days to get 3 things done. To me, that's really reasonable, because I have a couple days where my job is half days and I have 2 days off, and having 2 half days plus 2 full days off for 1 week times 2, so what's that? 4 days off plus 4 half days. That's plenty of time to get 3 assignments done, in my opinion. I'm just starting off on this, so we're gonna see how it looks like, but it seems to make sense in my brain. So every 2 weeks, I have 1 homework assignment for each subject. And then for each subject, I have 1 monthly project that I will continue to work on to have it finished by the end of the month. I have a quarterly assignment, which I guess you could view it as being like the SATs, or I don't know what school is, like, you know, like a quarterly end of the year test. But for me, it's going to be like a project to finish as well. Since everything that I'm doing is self-taught, it doesn't make sense to have a test at the end of the quarter, because who's going to grade it? Me, and it's not going to make sense because if I'm going to have my own answer key. So it makes sense for every quarter to have a project to be finished by. That would be like the review of everything that I've been learning / teaching myself. So an example of that, quarter 1, my sewing project. My homework for the first 2 weeks is to finish my journal notebook cover. And actually that I did finish really early because I got really excited about it. I finished the mane. So the front is this patchwork denim that I cut up from a pair of jeans I thrifted, and the back is just a full brown like dining table cover, I think, that I also thrifted. And this is pretty much the base that I finished, and I'm very excited and very proud of it. I am counting this as done because I just need to get a few hardware, but I don't have the money to get it right now, so I can't afford to finish it at the moment. But the main thing of it, the whole cover of it, is done. She can technically hold books. She's just a little book holder. So that's done. The next project until the end of the month for me to work on is to sew a headscarf that I really want to work on. For the month project, besides my 2 homeworks I'm giving myself for every month, my end of the month project. All right, so the goal of me sewing is to take these precious fabrics, these precious dresses that have the most intricate, most beautiful, cutesy fabric that I have found at Goodwill bins, and I want to thrift flip them. But because to me they are so precious and valuable, I am so scared to mess them up and have them just not be usable at all. I am trying to teach myself slowly on how to get to that level of thrift flip. So my sewing project for the end of the month is, I wrote down, do a project similar to thrift flip. So there's a bunch of dresses that I want to turn to skirts. So I need to work with elastic. With my end of month project, I was thinking of maybe taking some like loose fabric that I have. Like I have a bunch of curtains, a bunch of what they called duvet covers. So I have 1 curtain and 1 duvet cover that I figured that I should just try to make into a skirt with an elastic binding. That's something I could do, or I could try to make some scrunchies with some elastic, or I could try to make something with poofy sleeves that use elastic as like the binding of it. That is my monthly project that I need to work on as well. And so with the quarter assignment that I gave myself for sewing, I told myself that I have to work on 1 thrift flip item that I have saved. So that is my quarterly assignment. So once I build up the confidence of working with elastic, I'm going to take one of those precious dresses I have, cut it up, and give it a elastic waist binding. That's my quarterly assignments. And then I will take notes looking at it. What do I need to improve on? What can I work on better next? So then the next quarter, I know what projects to work on. So it's something like that, where we kind of gradually increase on difficulty. So that's how I'm viewing sewing, on making it into a hobby and then putting it down on paper as if it's like a class assignment for myself. But yeah, so that's my sewing journey. And so with my Japanese journey, I am really going through the self-taught route, and I'm kind of going through more conversational Japanese versus like writing Japanese, learning how to read and write. We will get there, but for Japan, I just figured I just want to learn everything conversational first, and then after my trip, I could focus on learning the reading and writing part. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm just watching a whole bunch of like teaching you Japanese YouTube videos, writing notes on it, taking the time to try to translate it in a way that makes sense for me, that matches with how it's being taught. So with my homeworks right now, I'm just giving myself a list of videos that I want to have notes on, all written down. And so with my Japanese lessons, my month end assignment is to make a PowerPoint. So I want to make a PowerPoint to review everything that I have learned and use it as a way that I am teaching someone, because that's one of the best ways of learning, is if you take what you are learning and consuming and then switch it around to try to explain how you would teach someone else. It helps it like burn even more into your neurons on how to remember it. So that's my end of month project. And then for my quarterly assignment, I gave myself that I want to try to take the N1 test and like see how well I do for the quarter end review. And I'm thinking for every quarter, I just keep doing that until I pass it maybe. I don't know how hard it's gonna be, but we're gonna do that because that seems like a really good goal to set, to just pass the N1 test. And if you don't know anything about Japanese, there is like different levels of the language that you take tests on to determine how well you know Japanese. And N1's like, oh, you're like kindergarten level, basically. Like, you know, the most basic of basic to communicate Japanese. That's my quarterly assignment. And then with singing, listen, I have always hated the sound of my voice when I sing. So it's really taking a lot for me to actually say like I want to learn how to sing, because I actually hate how I sound. But I feel like since in trying to start to learn more, I feel like I don't exactly hate it. But that also makes me feel like, ugh, am I being cocky? Just because, like, ugh, I kind of sound good now. But I know that's not the case, but, like, singing is just so nervous. And if you don't know, I am obsessed with Epic the Musical. So I'm this year I am surrounding everything I'm learning about singing through the musical. So every 2 weeks I gave myself the homework to record a video of me singing one of the songs and review the video and take notes what I could fix. Every 2 weeks I have one song I wrote down that I'm going to learn and record a video of me singing. Before I take a video at the end of the week, I am going to do warm-ups and just dedicate time to singing and trying to, be good at singing while doing warm-ups. Warm-ups is very important for learning how to sing. So warm-ups aren't just something you do willy-nilly. It's very important to do warm-ups before you practice singing. That's my homework for singing at the end of 2 weeks. My monthly singing goal. I wrote this down because I figured it'd be good to combine Japanese with it. To sing a Japanese song and compare to the original and make notes on improvement. I don't know if I'm going to do this still. I thought it would be fun to do at the moment. And again, this is my own personal curriculum, so whatever I wrote down at the moment, if I look back later on and I decide, hey, that actually doesn't quite make sense, I have my own power to change my own monthly assignment, guys. As long as I give myself some sort of task to see some sort of improvement by the end of the month, that's all that matters. So right now, I don't know if I would do that. Another idea for a monthly review is take one of the first 2 songs that I recorded and do an end of the month comparison. That might be even a better vocal review if you do an end of the month comparison. And then obviously take notes on the differences, take notes on what could be improved upon, and then look up how I can improve that. Look up the issues I'm having and look up how can one make improvements on that. That's an even better end of the month review. My quarterly one was that. But honestly, that might be the thing to do for singing, learning how to sing, is just to keep looking back, making comparisons, trying to see how you can improve, and keep going with that. There's really not much you could do with certain hobbies like singing where you can make it more complicated or more intense to learn. So yeah, just some hobbies, some things that you're learning, sometimes the best thing to do is just to continually compare and see how you can improve. So that's an example of that. But yeah, that's how I am going about with my personal curriculum with singing, learning Japanese, and learning how to sew. Like I said before, I'm very much a textile person. Like, I need to write it out, I need to put in the effort to write it out, I need to put it in a book where I can carry it with me and just see it at all times, no matter what battery life like my phone has. Like, I need to be able to see it. But if having a printout is more helpful for you, if this is something that seems to make sense to you, I have many versions. I have 2 quarters on a page, I have 1 whole quarter on a page, and then I did 1 month on a page. So I thought it was going to work out for me, and I thought it really made sense. And then I printed it out, and I was trying to do it, and I'm like, you know what? I need this in a book because I can't have these loose leaf papers. And I personally couldn't figure out how to resize it to fit in my more smaller book, so I decided just to write it all out. But yeah, I'll have those down below if that's more helpful for you, if you want to use it for how I'm using it, or if you want to use it for inspiration and change it up however you want to change it up. If you find this video helpful at all, or if it's inspired you at all on taking an alternative take on learning on your own self-teaching journey, let me know down below. I'd love to know what you're trying to learn and what your goals are for the end of the year, or even for the end of the month. Just remember that this is a personal curriculum, so you can drop out of classes if you want whenever you want. You can jump into new classes whenever you want. You can alter the beginning of your year whenever you want. Seriously, check out that calculator on how to divide your year into a more even time space. And if you feel like, oh, January, February was just not my year, I'm gonna start over in March, start your year in March and give yourself quarters into the next March. Your year can start whenever you want it to start. It doesn't have to be January. It doesn't have to be end of December. It can be whenever. Mercy literally a few hours from now, I'm almost done editing this video, and I totally forgot to mention that based off Jashi Koren's video, if you guys watched it, I hope you found it very informative and just a really good eye-opener on how to view time specifically. Based on her own calculator, I made my own version of the calculator that kind of just shows like literally every day split out for you. She kind of did it in like chunks, so it's a little more simplified. So I made my own version of the calculator, which breaks it up into quarters, into when your break would be. Yeah, I made my own version of it. That's what I was trying to say in the video, and I forgot to mention it completely. If you want to take a look at that, I have that in the link as well. But also like take a look at her calculator if my version just doesn't work out for you. To each their own. But yeah, let me know what you want to learn. Give me inspiration for the next year, and let's talk below on what our projects are, what our goals are, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in my next video. This is my life in Seattle. More to come. Bye! By the way, I'm doing an outfit video today as well, using this outfit for the beginning, and I don't know where I'm gonna post it, but do not comment that same outfit repeater, because I am a big offender of the same outfit repeater. So get excited for that video. I'm so excited to show you guys all my favorite outfits. Okay, bye!